Brodes Media.
Look, it's about one series at a time, no doubt about it, and this is going to be a battle. If you ask me, Brodes, how do you feel right now? And that's what this show is all about. This is the reactionary first level of digesting what we are about to see. Their first game is Saturday night, 6 p.m. at the Wells Fargo Center. So from now until then, there's going to be a lot of thoughts that jumble through my brain, and it's going to be bouncing off the wall, mixed together with my emotional tie to what I'm going to see with the Phillies every single damn night, especially against the New York Mets, and that's what we have tonight and in these next coming games, but that's irrelevant. That's not the point of today's show. I'm just showing you that there's going to be so much involved from what I'm going to be thinking from now until then. Today is just about to take a deep breath. Okay, where do you stand right now? And where I'm at is basically it could go either way. It's going to be a tough battle, and there's a few things that it comes down to. At the head coaching position, I see Nick Nurse way better than Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is a fraud. Doc Rivers is a loser. Doc Rivers is a problem. Now, I don't think he's as bad as others make him out to be fair, and I know that might sound hypocritical considering I just said he's a loser, but his name holds more weight than the actual production that you get. So from that aspect, it's overrated for sure. And of course, we had to deal with another issue of him screaming back and forth with the media. I cannot believe it's happened as many times as it has, and it honestly makes me wonder what this means, because when you get this testy, when you get this bothered, when you get that snap that he consistently gets with a lot of people asking him fair, honest questions about the backup big man, there's something deeper. There's something happening internally with Doc Rivers that's forcing him to have the reaction that he had. It was Doc Rivers after the game speaking about the backup big DeAndre Jordan compared to Paul Reed. And the answer's so damn obvious. You're going to get into foul trouble with Paul Reed, but also you need it for what, 10 minutes? And don't get me wrong, you could see 4 fouls in 7 minutes. Trust me, we've seen something just like that previously where he will find himself putting other players at the charity stripe, and now you're in some issues. But you have to play the pros and the cons right now, and specifically thinking about this matchup with Toronto. Come on, Doc. It's not rocket science. It's pretty damn basic, and the fact that you have to try to explain to us, we have a coaching staff that knows more than you. Shut up! Shut up! Apparently not. Apparently not, and I wonder how much of this is even Dan Burke, right? I mean, is Dan Burke, Dave Yeager? Now, Sam Cassell, him and Doc Rivers have the same exact philosophy. So Sam Cassell is an outlier to me. I think they're two stuck together, and they're like glue. You're telling me, Doc, that every single one of these coaches, I find that hard to believe that every single one of these coaches believe in what you believe. Because when you were gone due to COVID protocols, I saw Dan Burke do things differently. I watched him utilize a different rotation. And that rotation made a lot of sense, Doc. Made a lot of sense. And I know right now I'm starting off the show just ripping the head coach. So that would make it feel as if, well, if you're going to think that your coach is getting annihilated, in what universe do you feel strongly about the competition going in the favor of the Sixers in a 7-game battle? Well, Joel Embiid is better than every player on the courts. James Harden, I don't know what James Harden we get. If we get one like we saw in LA against the Clippers, where he can put up close to 30 and he can be that version, then possibly you have the two best players on the floor on that given night. Now, I can't rely on that every time they touch the floor out of James. If we get that in 2 out of 6, and let's say a battle that goes 6 games, and someone else picks up the slack in some of those other efforts, whether it's Tyrese Maxey, whether it's Tobias Harris with some catch-and-shoot threes out by the perimeter that gives this team some life, well, then maybe you're in a position to reach the second round. I want to know what you see out of DeAndre Jordan that's good against Big Fives. Because against Big Fives, he's a disaster. Against anyone, he is an absolute atrocious basketball player. So in what universe do you feel at any point that that would be a significant piece to the puzzle that would make a lot of sense and help out this squad? That's crazy to me. You talk about, well, I've seen fouls swing an entire playoff game. I've seen fouls swing an entire playoff run. Haven't you seen trash can players ruin that too? Haven't you seen specifically with the Sixers as a team? Amir Johnson, you go to Greg Monroe, and those were the pieces you had. You had Greg Monroe. Just a terrible, terrible option. But you see what, even if it's not technically fouls, it's their presence, and they suck at the sport of basketball. That swings playoff games too. So maybe, just maybe, it's worth taking a flyer and taking a chance on something that may work better than you think it will, compared to an option that is absolutely going to be awful, and the percentages of it not working is insanely higher. So let's play our percentage game, Doc. You are a mess. So it's inevitable that Doc Rivers is going to get outcoached by Nick Nurse. Superstar talent and better play by your top-end players can outperform the issues of your head coach, though, in the NBA. So that's why it stems back to, what version of James Harden do we get? If it's a 12, 13-point James Harden, but he logs in 12, 15 assists, and Maxi's going off for 28, you need to find, on the days that James Harden is in that 10 to 15-point range, who's picking up the scoring, who's taking those shots. There has been a huge jump in three-point shooting. So they averaged just under 32 threes per game, which is about 26th in the NBA. As of late, you've seen 40-plus in a handful of outings. That tells me about the professionalism of how James Harden operates and the looks that he's getting for his teammates. The problem is, on some nights, he's not looking to score. And when he is, he's missing badly. Who's not going to be there? Matisse Thybulle. And it's a joke to me. It's a joke that he is willing to sacrifice an NBA career, jeopardize his NBA career for a freaking vaccine. Does anybody know a soul who got the vaccine and turned into a dinosaur? All right? That turned into something, turned into a creature? Get the damn vaccine, be available for your teammates, and play the damn sport of basketball. I don't care about you listening. I don't care about anybody else. Oh, it's his choice. I can make my own damn choice. I don't care about you. You're not on the 76ers. I don't care. I don't care about your job, your occupation, how you feel about it and outside the workspace, how you feel about it in your own workspace. I care about the 76ers. I care about players being available for your team, and that's what we all learn when it comes to sports, is you have to sacrifice. You have to be there for one another. And right from the jump, we have this kid who got one, but didn't feel it was necessary to get a second. It's flawed, it's stupid, and it's hurting your team. And now you got to throw in Danny Green. Now, forget the Danny Green that we've seen as of late. He took 10 threes the other night. Let it fly, my guy. Let it fly. Keep shooting. He had 6. He shot 6 of 7 against Toronto. And maybe it's the perfect matchup for Danny, just to flip them the double bird. We always go flip Brodes the double bird. Maybe you do a little switcheroo and you go flip Toronto the double bird to show them, yo, fuckers, you want to play? I still got it. I know I sucked all regular season long, but there's a different level of adrenaline rush that occurs when you're going up against your former teammates, when you're playing against a city that you had that connection with, and, you know, kind of that if Kobe goes up against one of his best friends, it's like that killer mentality of I want to prove to you, and you have that extra motivation knowing who you're going up against. Maybe there's something to be said about that. Who knows? Maybe this Matisse Thybulle thing is a blessing in disguise in terms of spacing on the floor if Danny Green is going to shoot the ball well. Only time will tell. I'm not going to be a betting man and say the answer is absolutely yes if that's the case, but there is something to be said about him doing better as of late, and that's better than the alternative, which is him just sucking and absolutely blowing and having no sort of extra juice, thinking maybe there's something that turned the corner as a whole. Danny's a veteran. Danny's been around the block. Age is catching up to him, but who knows? It doesn't mean that there's zero moments left. And that's the same with James Harden. I feel the hamstring is playing a massive role in why we're seeing the ugly shots. Those threes aren't even close. They're hitting the backboard, and they're not even close to sniffing the rim. That's why when you say, well, he'll turn it around in the postseason because he's going to change his mindset, there's something to that. I'm not going to say there's nothing to that. There's something to that. You wouldn't miss as badly as you are. Now you get a week. You get a week to rest. He didn't play on Sunday. So you get some extra time here to see what you can do with the hammy. I was actually surprised. When I hosted yesterday afternoon, I got a bunch of phone calls with, don't worry about Harden. The Sixers are going to lose this series because of defensive problems, because of rebounding problems, giving the opponent second chance opportunities, and also because of Doc Rivers. And that may be the case. But the amount of people who said, don't worry about James Harden, he's averaging 20 plus and still getting you 10 to 15 assists. I hate to break it to you. You're only going to win. This is what I flipped back around. And this has been a common message from me. You will win if your superstars play like superstars. So I think that that's flawed to say you won't lose because of Harden. You absolutely can lose because of Harden. If Harden goes 3 for 14, I'm not going to say that there's no value in the 12 assists, 13 assists, and the professionalism of the pace of the half-court set. But if on these pick and rolls and these pick and pops, it's obvious to the defender that he's not confident. He's not having the approach of actually being a threat to score. And that's what he's doing right now. He's constantly looking for the pop to Embiid. I'm not mad looking for the best player in the damn sport right now to get a free throw, pretty much a free throw shot, a shot at the free throw line, a mid-range jumper off of a pick and pop. That won't scare me and make me feel nervous about that play. That's a play that I would like drawn up. But the power in James Harden also comes from teams thinking he can score. If you take that away from Harden, it's going to change the game big time. So it's going to be fascinating how this whole thing plays out. In terms of Joel Embiid not getting the MVP, which is basically inevitable at this point, it's disappointing. I've always had the thought that it doesn't matter to me about regular season accolades until someone gets robbed. Last year, it was an easy thing to swallow because I could understand Jokic doing it more or winning it and having a better chance of winning it. And it was just that type of year. Embiid missed a lot of time. Fine. This year, the time missed was all about the COVID protocols. That's what kept him off the floor. Where I get bothered is with about 60 games into the season, 20 to go, it was Joel Embiid's to lose. Joel Embiid did nothing to lose it, not at all, except post more 40 and 10 games, get a 40 and 20 game. And Jokic did nothing so outrageous to snag it from him. Considering Embiid's giving you 30 plus, Embiid's giving you 30 and 10, he's dominating every single night. For Jokic to then take it from him, he'd have to have 7 50-point triple-doubles with 18 boards and 14 assists on those nights. That's how outrageous he would have to perform to take it from Embiid. So because he got robbed, and it was a no-brainer that it was Embiid's to lose, and he didn't lose it, and no one did enough to take it from him, that's where my outrage comes in. And unfortunately, we are going to get this stolen from Embiid, and maybe there is something to the NBA not liking the way the Sixers went through the process, and that would almost be a defining moment of, it works. You just got the MVP of the league for sucking on purpose for so many years, yet for some reason, it's okay for OKC to throw out me, you, and anybody else to play 5-man units out there. But for some reason, the Sixers do it, and it's despised. Maybe because of how vocal they were about the actual words. And I don't know, though. But the execution of OKC, they're doing the same exact damn thing. So it bothers me as a whole.